The Everything Sequel Podcast is brought to you by the Vegas Beer Guys and the Everything Sequel Podcast. The Everything Sequel Podcast contains explicit language, and I will not go to my room. My name is Michael Shantz of the How Dare You Awards. Joining me, the man who'd like to throw me into a sandstorm, Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions. Say hello, Tom.
I don't mean to bring up the elephant in the room, but what's with the big hairy Russian? My exact note is, I don't mean to bring up the elephant in the room, but what's with the big hairy Russian is the quotable. I knew instantly.
That's great.
This movie definitely succeeds where J.J. Abrams fails in making Simon Pegg funny.
Yes, there you go.
Utilizing his comedic abilities.
Well, it's funny because I mean, this movie, well, let me put it this way. I'm already wrong about what I thought you'd go with, but I get to wait till the end of the episode.
Ooh.
And see if the line that I underlined will come up at the end.
I think it probably will. I think I know what line you were thinking of.
Okay.
Because you got a dirty mind.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not a dirty. It's not a dirty.
Okay. That's I liked your introductory note about the sandstorm because I have a lot of nice things to say about that as a plot device.
Me too.
They make you forget about that.
And then it comes back. That's really clever storytelling. It's one of my favorite things about this movie is that the movie makes you believe that it will be important to a particular scene, and then one character just says, "Don't worry about it. It's ways off. It's a ways off."
Yeah.
And it bears no problem for them for what they have to do.
Right.
And then the second you're like you said, the second you forget about it, they walk out, and there it is, and it's great.
Yeah, it's really clever storytelling.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, here we are. We're talking Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, a 2001 film with 94%.
No. Try again.
What, did I get it wrong? Is it not 2001?
2011.
Oh, 2011. I wrote down 2001.
But you must have known that wasn't correct when you read it.
No. I have no idea what these movies. Yes, I understand that, like, looking back on it now, Mission Impossible 2 was 2000, so there's no way this could be 2001, but, you know.
Unless they made Mission Impossible 3 6 months after Mission Impossible 2, and then followed this up 6 months later.
Damn it all to hell.
They used to make sequels like that.
Yeah. So 2011 film with 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you, world. You understand what good filmmaking is. 94. That's first of all 94. But we've got that's incredible that it's that highly rated.
It's funny you should mention that because this is directed by Brad Bird, director of The Incredibles.
The Incredibles and The Iron Giant.
Iron Giant, Ratatouille.
Oh, he did Ratatouille as well.
Incredibles 2 and Tomorrowland, which is when they were like, why don't you go back to cartoons?
But wow, that's interesting. I haven't watched all of Tomorrowland, but I started it and I couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt what I thought I'd feel watching this movie is that he's in, he doesn't know what to do with live action storytelling, but that couldn't be further from the truth. He obviously knows what to do with live action storytelling. Are those his only live action movies, or has he done?
I think so.
Wow, that's incredible. Sorry, I'll come up with another adjective. I'm saying incredible.
He's got a couple of movies coming up. I don't remember their names. One seemed like a definite cartoon.
The Fantastic Five.
I wasn't so sure about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really remarkable that he pulled this off. if he wasn't necessarily going into live action storytelling and he came out with this.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan was, but I mean, he pulls it together for this fucking movie, I'll tell you that much.
If they're gonna continue the series in animated form, he's the first call they should make.
Yeah, absolutely. When Tom Cruise decides that his body can no longer do it, but he's got the voice.
But that's great. They could look like the original 1960s Mission Impossible cast as well in animated form. It would be like a tribute to the animated Star Trek and Batman series.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's something that's interesting. This movie had a budget of $145 million. An opening weekend of just $12.7 million.
Oh.
Is that a misprint? I feel like I want to look that up. It sounds like my year.
Your notes did say it was a 2001 film, so I don't know who to believe.
But in the USA, it said it garnered $209.3 million, but in the world, $694.7 million.
Yeah.
So it's one of those movies that, you know, on the bigger side of the series, but, you know, kind of lackluster compared to some of the movies in the USA, and certainly with that opening weekend.
Is that why they started looking to international production companies after this film was made?
Yeah, they get a little unwieldy, don't they?
They were just like, well, if it's popular all around the world,
Alibaba,
Alibaba and China Media Company, and
yeah,
that is really surprising on a lot of counts.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought, but wow, I guess people really needed to be persuaded that this franchise could still work. I mean, I understand why. I think it's not a given at this point that it's going to be a juggernaut.
Yeah, it says $12 million opening weekend.
What else was out that weekend? Do you have that information?
I do not.
2011
is December 21st, 2001.
Should have cleaned up. Unless
maybe Oscar bait was out.
Is that a movie or a...
No, I'm just saying it's... you release shit and...
I would love it if they just released a movie called Oscar Bait. Oh well. That makes no sense to me, but... What does make sense to me...
What does?
That it was internationally popular.
Yeah.
Because this is the Mission Impossible that the world knows through syndication.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much a version of that.
I agree.
This is the Mission Impossible I know.
Barely.
Well, no, I mean, you know, I think Brad Bird obviously has a fetish for that era of pop culture with The Incredibles as well.
Damn it. I went to go look up what else was released and I put in 2001.
Oh my god. What's going on? You're caught in a time loop.
I'm all fucked up.
And I bet it just told you about the movie 2001 as well.
No, well, it did say A Beautiful Mind, and I was like, that seems early.
A Beautiful Mind 2, Revenge of the Mind. That was a great runner. It was a great runner in the studio about him giving Ron Howard the note about letting people know, telling the audience that it was all in his head.
Yeah.
Before they found out. I see his logic. Why hide the ball from the audience?
Alvin and the Chipmunks chipwrecked.
They shouldn't cause Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol any trouble.
I agree.
Mind you, people really went to... They made a couple of those Alvin movies, so they must have been...
They were popular for sure, but...
I don't even know what Shipwrecked is.
Chipwrecked. CH.
What's that? What could that possibly be about?
Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. These are like released around that time. We Bought a Zoo. I don't think that was a problem. And The Darkest Hour, War Horse, and Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, released on Christmas Day.
No, I think it still should have cleaned up. And I think
yeah,
the movies that are in there are like complementary enough to this without being like, you know, you see like Girl with a Dragon Tattoo is kind of a bit like the not fun version of this. So so I'd be like, I want to see a movie tonight that's not fun. Let's go and see Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. Well, I'm gonna go and see Ghost Protocol because I want to have some fun. Yeah, it's a mystery. I don't get that at all. But I can only think that people were starting to suspect that the Mission Impossible series wasn't going to produce another good movie.
People liked 3.
People did like 3, but that's strange. Anyway, doesn't matter. People retrospectively know that it was as good as it is.
Yeah. This movie opens up with what I call the "Aren't We Great" Paramount logo.
They've given themselves a fanfare.
Yeah. Along with Skydance and Bad Robot.
Yeah, it goes along with the pomposity of the Top Gun style logo that they fashion where we...
That Skydance logo, they really think a bit of themselves too, don't they?
But this must have been one of their first movies because in Final Reckoning or Dead Reckoning, it says 10 years... 10 years of, like a 10-year anniversary, so this must have been one of the first Skydance movies. But yeah, Bad Robot. So Skydance is new, but the latter is just J.J. Abrams keeping his finger in the pie.
Yeah. Per always.
And we begin in Budapest, which...
Title card.
I'm fine with there being a title card, because it's not an immediately recognizable skyline like Sydney.
Yeah.
And what a great espionage city to start on.
Yes.
And it's lit so well, the way that the color is dimmed, the grays, the colors are dimmed, it's grayed, it's shadowy. They're really kind of draining all the kind of
They're leaning into espionage.
Yeah.
Yeah. They even have a short-haired Holloway.
Yes. And again, like, you know, this is how you begin in media res, right? This is how you do it, J.J. Abrams. Instead of plucking a scene from your denouement,
right,
to show up front.
This movie does what we talked about in the last episode, because it plucks, like, they come back to this, not maybe the middle, but somewhere around a quarter of the way through. Paula Patton will tell us what went wrong with that initial task that they had set up for themselves.
And it's so efficient and minimalist. I was like, where are they getting this running time from? Because it's all silent visual storytelling to begin the movie.
And then by the time Holloway gets shot, it feels exactly like The Sting.
Yeah.
You
mean the movie The Sting?
Yeah.
Oh, it could also mean, but you could also mean The Sting before the credits. Because that's true.
That's true.
But we don't. I mean, we've got this is interesting because it has the problem that the later movies have, where they try and put 3 or 4 set pieces into one cold open. But this really doesn't feel like it.
No.
Like we go, because we've had our little mini cold open here. And now we've got the prison break, which also begins mid-mission as well. So we get 2 in media reses.
Now, I was going to ask you, are you okay with this? Because this seemed to bother you in No Time to Die.
The jail
before.
The dual, really,
the dual cold opens.
None of you're efficient with it.
Okay.
I mean, they do it in. There's a couple of Bond films they do it in where it works. Is it Living Daylights, maybe? It's possible.
I don't remember.
It's possible if you keep everything
I think it's 2 movies from now. Isn't Fallout like a 30-minute cold
Oh, it's
not
ridiculous.
cold open, but
too long.
before we
Too
get the
long.
titles? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are all like classic set pieces, the jail breakout, and then, you know, they're telling the story with faces and cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how you do it. And, you know, Peg's faces, comic faces, are really funny. Like, it's adding camp comedy to this espionage scenario.
The staring at the camera and the open the door shit that Cruz is doing, and they're like, yes, I see you doing that. Why do you want me to do that?
And there's so many kind of cult grit, you know, that this Brad Bird wants this movie to be set during the Cold War, and by God, he'll make it happen.
Right.
Even if the political situation currently doesn't suit the Cold War, it will become like the Cold War by the time the movies get going.
Sure.
Because we've got sewers, Moscow, prisons, and then, you know, Dean
Martin. It's feeling
Martin.
third man.
Yeah, Dean Martin as well playing.
Sure.
It's like back to spy film basics. And, well, you know, like, this is what, another 4 years after Mission Impossible 2, so, again, we've got to account for what's happened to Ethan Hunt.
Mission Impossible 3?
Yeah.
It's 5 years, right? Wasn't that 6?
5 years, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So 5 years later, so Ethan's, like, in another, is in mysterious circumstances as well.
Yes.
And of course, you know, we expect him to be still married as well, and that will come up later. But at this point, they're just kind of using these big gaps between movies to create opportunities for exciting reintroductions to the characters. And this is one of the best ones, that he's breaking out of prison.
Yeah, I like how lackadaisical he is, too, just throwing his rock against the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Steve McQueen style.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it feels like it's at that period where the kind of push and pull between this and the Bond movies is really is in a healthy spot, because, you know, we go back to Benji.
Yeah.
So there's this sense of trying to build a core team, and that's exactly what the Daniel Craig Bond films start to do. A few, you know, with Skyfall onwards.
Yeah.
So it feels like they were inspired by that, but, you know, but Brad Bird's probably thinking of the Connery Moore period, where you had this stable unit of supporting characters as well. So it's kind of it's a cycle of influence, and just, you know, like, yeah, like this whole set piece was done in season 3 of 24. This whole idea of, like, staging a breakout to get a particular person out. And obviously Prison Break is all like this.
Sure.
But it imbibes it with a sense of fun that neither of those two properties have.
Right.
So, and it really doesn't take that long.
No.
And I didn't even notice until I look back at my notes now that this was 2 independent sequences. It felt like the same sequence to me.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It didn't feel like they were stitched together at all.
Well, plus, as a lead to your credits, just great to hear him say, light the fuse, and off we go into credits.
And this is probably the moment I fell in love with the movie. That they did an in-world meta lead into the fuse.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, that's so simple. Why has nobody thought of that?
Why don't they do that all the time?
Because it's, you know, it's like, it's that nice sort of, you know, it's got that nice meta quality of start the titles, but in world, you know, they actually need to light the fuse to get away, and then
to get out. Yeah.
And then the getaway you actually see in the title sequence.
Yes, right.
And then it goes into the rest of the events of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's better than...
I wrote it down as the show us later scenes credits.
Yeah, and you know, Skyfall seemed to have got all the credit for doing this, and yet it's done here a year before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is better than any Bond title sequence has been probably since, like, the 80s.
Oh yeah, you love it.
And it's not even and it's not even a Bond film title sequence, and it's better. It's automatically better than all of them. Yeah. And then, you know, the way that they kind of pick up character arcs and storylines once.
It's really good, isn't it? Benji, what the hell are you doing here?
Yes, exactly.
I passed my field test.
You specifically, what? How are you here? I love it. Yeah, it's that. It's like a tiny story update without over personalizing it, without being part of some gut wrenching character arc.
Sure.
But these little updates is kind of all we need. And they even get away with something which I think for us is like, both of us is a cinematic crime, which is repeating footage that you've seen minutes earlier in the movie.
I have that note, yeah.
And they get away with it because actually it's the multi-perspective dimension kind of sells it.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of realize that, by omitting this information, you made the the cold open tighter and more efficient.
Yeah, it actually does happen much sooner than I even remembered. Right. Where Paula Patton catches you up on the Josh Holloway snafu, I'll call it.
And it is, we didn't have all the information. It is all relevant information that we didn't know about.
Yeah, we get more information too. That's true. Also, we didn't mention it in that initial cold open, but that throwing of the airbag, that's cool spy shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, we need, in order to understand what's happening. And it's really clever because I got a completely different impression of what was going on between him and Léa Seydoux.
Mm-hmm.
Or Seydoux, I think.
Okay.
Then was actually going on once they put in the extra perspectives and they showed you what was really happening. I assumed something completely different. And I love that they kind of just they just give you these kind of.
What do you mean from the beginning, the shooting Holloway?
Like why her face was on the phone, that kind of thing. Like those were questions that did actually need to be answered.
Oh, they have to be answered. That for me is.
And it's not what I expected it
to be.
The
tiniest of flaws in that. For me, I kept thinking if Holloway, well, maybe he's just not as good as Ethan Hunt, but if he's going to hear a beep on his phone, that means something's afoot.
Right.
And what back alley has a beautiful woman just walking right towards you, kind of slyly smirking?
Well,
go ahead and shoot her in the face just in case.
But they're clearly going for this pseudo 60s sexy spy feel.
Yeah.
By casting her and dressing her in the way that she has. And what I love is immediately they tell you what's in the mystery box.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Russian nuclear launch clothes. See? It's that easy. It's still mysterious. I still don't know. There's still some mystery around these, but I can know what's in there.
And it's not a problem.
It's really... No, it's essential for me to know. But this is where it most captures the spirit of the TV series, and there's not a wasted line of dialogue. They trim the exposition down to just what you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of Brad Bird's really the only one who fully understands that. So that was really nice to see. And they bring us up to date with Ethan's past and present in less than a minute.
Yeah, they do.
I counted it. I counted it. I was like, no hiding the ball, no conveniently ignoring what's come before. Mm-hmm. They just deal with it, but they do it efficiently.
Yeah. Well, he's at the payphone getting the.
Oh, the payphone, that phone booth. I mean, that's up there with some of the best intros to the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next one is also really good. But it totally feels like it could come right out of the 60s Mission Impossible. Whereas, the sunglasses case...
So therefore you like it.
Well, yeah, but compared to the sunglasses case and the disposable camera, this feels more legitimate to me.
Love the idea of it not even self-destructing in 5 seconds.
Yes.
But I think it's in that moment that Benji's catching up Paula Patton on Cruz's wife.
Yeah.
Which is great because a character needs to know something that the audience needs to know something. That's always a good way to go.
it's kind of like it's a little more developed, but it's more or less the like in the Moore and Dalton Bond films when they like he was married once, or when Agent Triple X starts to read his file to him, and he stops her when she mentions marriage and that kind of thing. It's like it's almost as clipped as that. Like he understands that you can't go too deep into the weeds on this for what we want to do.
But you also don't have to do what so many movies do, which is just completely ignore it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I mean, I was thinking about Halloween 4 and
I like that. I like that you're thinking about Halloween 4.
The plot, I'm constantly thinking about Halloween 4. The plot, how I recommended it to someone just the other day. They'd never seen any of the sequels, and I was like,
oh, nice.
2 to 4, it's gold all the way through.
I'd like to see what they respond with when they watch 3.
Yeah, I think they would just look at me and I would lower my head and go, sorry.
My bad.
But, they deal with Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis being alive with not really dealing with it.
Yeah.
Whereas this is a more involved approach of that, but it's kind of
show
the same
some
outcome.
Scarred tissue. Done.
But they do talk about it, but it's a minor conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just enough to kind of it makes you realize how easy it is, because it's sort of like in back of my head I'm like, how are they going to write themselves out of this corner? He's no longer with her because it's too dangerous for her. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. that's.
But what I like is that they'll complicate it later on.
Yeah, and they'll do it as they go along. They'll start to tell a different story, and they'll fold that back on itself, and they do that discreetly throughout the movie rather than it becoming the story of the movie.
It gives an arc to a whole other character.
Who's never on screen, or like only on screen right at the end.
No, I mean Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah, because he doesn't... Yeah, exactly.
Because he was the one protecting them, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And all of this comes out in a way that is far more organic than you expect it to be.
Yeah.
Given that it's a totally different story that the movie's not interested in telling.
Plus, Tom Cruise blow darts that guy, what's his name? Bogdan in the neck, and that's pretty funny. That guy is funny. That character's good.
Absolutely.
And the next thing you know, we're at the Kremlin, right?
It's fun. We're not. Brad Bird is not hiding how much he wants this to be a Cold War spy movie.
Yeah.
Because we're back at the Kremlin.
Now let me ask you something though.
Yeah.
They're walking in, and Benji is treating. Okay, does it bother you that he's excited to work with Ethan? Or does that feel more organic?
It should. It's totally that, the Mary Sue character
It's the Axel F thing.
But I think it is.
But to me, here it makes more sense to me. Because he was, when we met him just one movie ago, he was sitting at a desk and he was frumpy.
Yeah.
He would be excited. He just wants to wear a mask.
Yeah, I like the idea that the mask requires seniority.
Yeah,
you can't throw on a mask.
You haven't come far enough along to be mask worthy.
But also it's interesting because I think from this point onwards, the masks become, you put it on and you become a different actor. Whereas they've tried to make this Tom Cruise in disguise in a way that feels more like old school.
Yeah.
Disguises in spy movies. Because I didn't even realize he was wearing a mask. I just thought he had a fake mustache and nose.
I thought he was.
No, he is. No, later he pulls off the whole thing. But it doesn't really change his appearance in the way that, later on in the movie someone puts on the mask and it's like they're a totally different actor.
Yeah.
This is still just Tom Cruise with a big nose and a mustache. Like Groucho Marx. Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I kind of started falling in love with this movie even way back when I first saw it in this moment, because this is probably the coolest spy shit in the whole series.
Oh, okay.
As they're walking down the hall and the little ba-dook, ba-dook, and the throws the sound and put up the computer screen and take it down the hallway.
I mean, there's some beautiful... This is where I really started to feel like Brad Bird's experience in animation was helping him make this movie rather than hindering him. Because there's visuals in this movie that you feel is more like you would see in a Pixar movie. Like, there's a moment where a red balloon kind of flies away, and we watch it for a second, and I was like, that's how animators look at the world, kind of.
Right.
But it fits perfectly, it fits perfectly well in here.
That's the thing that helps him load his, not his passport, but his identification into the computer or whatever.
Right. And I wrote the same thing. I said the Kremlin break-in is like, real Octopussy vibes. The slickest, most legitimate set piece in the series so far.
Yeah.
And then the moment I kind of fell head over heels in love with this movie was the fact that their strategy for getting in here is the Wile E. Coyote fake road background.
Yeah.
Literally. I was laughing so hard. I was like, only an animation genius could combine live action and Looney Tunes this way.
I love that moment where Benji gets
the big
behind
face.
the camera with the big face.
It was just like pure slapstick. And it's like, so comedically we've come so far from the last movie where barely any jokes works to this.
Yeah.
They're just nailing this visual humor.
They're killing it.
It's just so hilarious. I was like, it's the Wile E. Coyote fake background.
Well, also, I'll start over. Also,
2001 movie.
What I like is how he's seamlessly blending genre. So he's being as silly as he can right there. Mm-hmm. But then when they get into the room and that espionage bit of what they came for isn't there,
right?
And they're fucked. Mm-hmm. That felt like old school spy movie stuff too.
Oh,
and all of this is woven so well together.
It's a multi-dimensional espionage movie. It kind of pulls from the frothier stuff, but it also is also interested in the John le Carre side of things. Yeah. John le Carre and Len Dayton, Cold War as well. And yeah, absolutely. And just again, they so expertly twist the storyline, and to do that mid set piece, I think sets a really good precedent for this series, and future films pick up on this as well. The idea you go into a set piece thinking it's one thing, and you leave knowing it's another. The fact that there's a dual theft going on here. Right. Yeah. Everyone's breaking into the Kremlin at once for some reason. And I love the fact that I don't know if this was deliberate on Brad Bird's part, but he gives Tom Cruise his running scenes, but there was always a catch. So we see he's running. You don't get to
run for long before the Kremlin blows up and you're in a hospital.
And you're dressed as an old Russian general.
Yeah. Yeah. But by the time he starts running, he's a Springsteen fan.
Oh man, that's so funny that he gets into a Springsteen t-shirt. I mean, it's like Brad I said Brad Pitt. Then I was like Brad Bird is just like, I was just like, look, let's just pretend this is 1986, okay? Yep. But of course, isn't it like a Born in the USA t-shirt that he's wearing?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just hilarious as a disguise, disguised as a conspicuous American. And the explosion is is a bit digital.
There's a few digital moments. That's one of them. There's a very digital car crash later.
But there's also some good blue screen here.
Remember, it's 2011. It's in that window of weirdness.
Yeah. But also, I think they're using blue screen, which generally looks better to me than green screen and digital backgrounds. And it's got that kind of Sam Raimi quality where they know when to cut before it gets really incredulous.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Like they cut exactly the point that it...
At the right point.
Yeah.
Before it gets too unwieldy.
And don't they do a little bit of the shell shock sound work as well with Tom Cruise? A little bit? Proto... I should not like this movie as much as I do, given what's in it.
I don't remember. I didn't write it down, but it's... Because I think they do a hard cut, and the next thing you know, he wakes up in the hospital.
That's right, yeah. And then there's the scene with him half naked on the ledge.
That scene is hilarious, and
yeah.
And what I like is that it subverts all your expectations for the characters. I love this guy playing the Russian cop.
Mm-hmm.
And when he looks out the window, and he's sort of in a panic as he looks out the window, but when he sees Cruise and sees the predicament he's in, he just kind of takes out his cigarette and like, go ahead, do whatever you feel you must, you know. And just that idea that he thinks he's got the upper hand, and then Cruise does something unexpected, which is
right.
Well, you know this now, but didn't a few months ago, but he's got the Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell belt, zip line.
Zip line, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really cool, and also, you know, he has to have a shirtless moment in each movie, and I like that this is his shirtless moment.
Yeah, right.
You know, there's sort of like, it's the sex symbol moment for him.
He's got a Tango and Cash it.
Which I understand that reference.
You do now.
Yeah. And I understood that reference is also a Captain America reference. And then again, like, you know, bringing the world of animation to a live-action movie, the drawing on the hand.
Yeah.
The idea that, like, the idea this guy... And this comes back... This is something that becomes kind of a runner of, like, Tom Cruise, sort of Ethan Hunt sketching the people he's after. But it becomes important in this movie because they have to rely on non-technological identification.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love that that's like they're using 2D animation within a 3-dimensional live action movie.
Yeah.
Or 2D drawing, 2D representation. And then
I'm starting to think maybe we should take a break.
Yeah, we should. We're kind of plowing through our compliments.
We're both pretty happy right now.
So far, yeah. So far, I've complained about something looking digital, and that's pretty much it.
That's a record.
I like to think I know something about beer, but nowadays even I get overwhelmed when confronted by the exhaustive selection of craft beers they have at bars, breweries, and even grocery stores. Back in the day, you had one, maybe 2 craft beers to choose from, and if you were confused, you ordered a Guinness. But in beerstinations like San Diego, the craft beer options lately are in double, sometimes even triple digits. So what's a beer drinker to do? You need what I need, the Vegas Beer Guys. Your beer of choice should be a perfect blend of malt and hops. And so a live show about beer needs that same balance. And the Vegas Beer Guys matches beer expert Dan Aker with self-proclaimed beer novice Stephen J. Weiss. The results are eminently drinkable. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. They'll try new beers, they'll tell you about beer. Think of them as your beer Sherpas guiding you up a foamy-headed mountain to reach the peak of your pint. God, I need a beer.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom and I are here, slightly gushing over Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the not 2001 film, directed by Brad Bird.
Wouldn't be complaining about the digital if it was a 2001 film. That's for sure. Yeah.
All right, you said, what'd you say on the way out? You had something?
No, that's much later. I overpromised. That's going to come right at the end of the movie, but...
Well, you should be ashamed of yourself. We went out on that. I promised we'd talk about it when we got back.
Well, you know, it's the J.J. Abrams method. Promise and never deliver.
All right, we'll see if we can deliver later.
Well, the next note I have is that in the back of the car with Tom Wilkinson and
Wilkinson, the IMF is shut down. I'm initiating Ghost Protocol.
Because he even...
Yeah, I have to admit, it's funny that this series just interchanges bosses so readily.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne's out, Tom Wilkinson's in, but it all seems to make sense government-wise. Those guys can come in and out fairly quickly, can't they? These movies are all 4 to 5 years apart, so...
Yeah, I don't think that seems that seems egregious.
And there was something about, I forgot that he was in it. And the second Wilkinson appears, I just remember thinking to myself, it really adds some gravitas to
it's like the opposite
that
of what they
moment.
do. Opposite of Brendan Gleeson, like they bring in this actor with gravitas and he does nothing, and
Yeah.
Here they bring in Tom Wilkinson and they really use him in his minutes of screen time.
Well, and it means something. It's one of those choices you make, because if it was whatever, some round-faced, gray-haired, stern guy that we didn't know, it wouldn't mean as much that he gets shot right in the head 4 minutes after we meet him.
It's fair, and it's good character writing as well. I mean, first of all, I love the fact that he basically says the conditions of the world are now the Cuban Missile Crisis. So essentially,
yeah,
Brad Bird is getting his dream of making a movie set in the 1960s.
Sure. But he's saying the IMF is gone, but I need you to save everything.
Well, it's interesting because it's a twist on, I think in at least 2, maybe even 3 of these movies, Hunt has become a rogue agent during the movie.
Yeah.
And the
that's
twist,
his deal.
The inversion here is he's
told
his mission is to be a rogue agent.
Yeah.
So I love that inversion. Instead of just doing the same, he gets, shot down by authority and then has to go rogue. This is like authority is saying, you need to go rogue.
You need to go rogue. And then I like that there's a sentimentality to it, because right in the middle of him saying, I've always considered you a friend, is the very moment he dies. And it just goes a long way to... That's judicious. That's real quick exposition. You know that they've worked together for a while now, that he likes him and he trusts him, and then poof, he's gone and out of his life.
It's like, what's he called from Temple of Doom? His buddy in the the nightclub. I go first.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. You can do it quickly.
You really can. It just shows you if you have good acting and good writing, you can achieve anything in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Jeremy Renner is kind of the voice of the audience here, because he's like, where else am I gonna go? Why would that work? He's just asking a lot of awkward questions that the audience are kind of asking themselves.
He's like a first-year spy in that moment when they're walking to the train. He's like, I'm wondering why would that work? The flare, like what? That doesn't make any sense. Why would the?
Yeah. Well, the moving train is excellent because it's almost like they're making fun of the crews running, because he keeps having to catch up with this one.
Not just the crews running, but the technology aspect of the IMF.
The identity scans. This is the most convoluted,
and it's
limitations
to
get into the train. Yeah, exactly. And once we get on the train, on this, this GoldenEye train.
Yes, very much.
The briefing speech. I mean, Brad Bird I think Brad Bird must be a big Magnolia fan, because he's using all of Tom Cruise's big Magnolia energy to give him the gravitas to do this mission briefing. He's full on Magnolia in this scene.
He doesn't have the one moment with the hands together and the shake.
I just found out. I don't know if you're aware of this. This was like because Magnolia was 2000. I don't know why I'm asking you. You think this is a 2001 movie. But I think 2000, right?
That sounds right.
And they created like a proto-viral marketing campaign where they filmed fake commercials with Tom Cruise as his character from Magnolia and put it on late-night TV.
Yeah.
God, imagine seeing that before you'd seen the film as well. You'd be like, oh, Tom Cruise has lost his fucking mind. Before another instance where you were like, Tom Cruise has lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
And it's great because we've mentioned that, you know, that there's a time and a place to wear a mask and a time and a place when not to, and now it's like we're talking again about mask making, and I love the idea. It's sort of like this movie is less interested in masks than certainly John Woo was, and maybe even the last movie. But it's like, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No, it's part of what they do. Yeah.
And then the whole, I mean, as we get into this the skyscraper hotel sequence, there's so many interesting ideas they're throwing at the wall. The idea of creating a fake version of the building to lead someone to.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a bat utility belt quality to it, though.
More than a little.
Where they're putting that, they have a specific device that just changes the numbers on the doors.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Super Friends cartoon as a kid, and they found a mouse that was important, and Batman just said, "I'll put it in the mouse compartment of my utility belt."
I guarantee Bud Bird knows exactly what you're talking about. I bet he used the analogy of the bat utility belt many times here. That's partly why I love this movie. And you know, it's the skyscraper climb. It's sort of like this has almost become a tradition of the movie. Tom Cruise is going to climb something in these movies. So far.
But everything surrounding this, I just love because. One, I like the humility that Cruise has, at least to like, it's not filled with bravado.
No,
when Benji says he
allows himself to be vulnerable and
and Benji says, you know, we can get to it from the outside, and he kind of looks at him a second. He goes, "We?" He goes, "Well, I'm on the computer." Like, I would, but I have other things I have to do. I don't know what to tell you.
And they have all those. This is, you know, they talk about all the limitations they have, where they're like, you know, we can't run their IDs by headquarters because we're rogue. We're rogue. So, and it's done more organically than it's like suddenly everything is it's not like suddenly everything is MacGyver. It's like, no, we just got to come up with a workaround. We can still use computers. We just can't hack into our data. You know, we can't go to our central database. It's like basically we can't use our work computers. It's basically, well, we can still use computers. We just can't use our work computers.
Yeah. Is this the first time, because they're building the masks too? Is this the first time the masks fail?
It might be. Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, I do too. Well, it's really nice because it's sort of like, oh, we got to think of a workaround.
Yeah.
It can't go the way it always goes. It can't be as simple as that.
Blue is glue, red is dead.
Yes. And it's kind of interesting in terms of where we are in terms of the practical stunt work, because you know, there's an actor doing some of this.
Yeah.
At times. Right? The backgrounds are clearly not real, but
no, and I don't, you know, I don't think there are, I don't know that there are actual gloves that just stick to windows.
No, of course not.
And I'm sure he's hanging on a harness, but having said that
there's some pullouts that reveal that someone is on the side of a building.
Yeah, exactly. And that one shot of watching Cruise crawl from inside the room to outside the building, where it's an above shot and the camera just follows him to the outside. It's an incredible shot to show you the lengths they go to deliver an impossible moment.
Yeah.
And the series is called Mission Impossible, so that's fucking great.
Yeah. I love that they talk about how advanced the technology that Ethan has to get to is, and then when he arrives, because it's 2011, it's a big bulky Dell unit. It's like my current work computer is what it looks like. My current desktop. And I just think, yeah, in 2011 that looks more impressive than it does now.
Yeah, it's funny the amount of both tension and comedy that Brad Bird's able to build throughout this entire set piece. Paula Patton comes in and says, "Where's Ethan?" And they have to just kind of point out the fucking window.
Yeah.
The idea that one of those gloves fail and he just takes it off and he climbs like another 4 stories and there's the fucking glove on the window. Shit like that.
Yeah, and him,
and what's his name? Brandt, Jeremy Renner, his countdown. The countdown is really not helping.
Yes. Again, playing with these conventions of the series in a fun way.
So good.
And also, I think this is again where heightening action to an animation level really helps this movie. So that the jumping in the window feels like a moment from an animated movie, but
the one where he breaks in?
Yeah. It's
or
like
the rope walk jump.
Probably the breaking through the window. I think it's kind of like it's like a kind of heightened animation reality, but it really serves this particular set piece really well. And it feels like someone like Brad Bird is sort of the only person who can push it that far, and it still look credible.
Still look on the verge of real.
Yeah, on the verge of real, exactly. And I mean the whole premise of this meet is just pure cinema, right? The whole idea of the double meeting on different floors and just parallel editing between them. I mean, it's
great.
It's the most cinematic way of telling the story.
Yeah, and there's
no other medium can do this.
Correct. And not that it's completely silent filmmaking, but so much of it is the looking at the documents,
Nobody
the double
speaks unless they
blinking
need
that
to,
runs the copy into the one down below.
But it's a situation where you can't speak more than you need to.
Right.
That's what's great about it.
That's why it works.
And
exactly.
they're waiting for information they don't have, so they literally can't speak until they have that information. And it's so...
but this is before all the stuff in the rooms, but I also thought it was interesting. I like that in this sort of I'm sure it's a PG-13 movie, but for the most part it's kind of an all good fun. It's funny that it's directed by an animated or an animation director because it has that quality, that feel of almost not being able to be real because the things you're seeing are incredible. But I like that he allows that one moment where Tom Cruise runs straight down the building on the line and he can't quite reach the window, and Brandt just goes, "Your line's not long enough." And he goes, "No shit." I like that he allows that moment of frustration. Is really funny.
It's a very Roger Moore Bond thing, I think it's either Moonraker or View to a Kill, when he's hanging from a rope and one of the girls says, "Hang on, the thought had occurred."
Yeah.
But it also, the writing is really good because it's a really hard piece of writing to do because it's all cause and effect. What happens on one floor affects what happens on the other.
Affects the other, right?
It's like those there was a period where people were doing these kind of 2-stage plays, which were like interconnected spaces, and characters would go from the most famous one I think is House and Garden. It's like a house party and a garden party happening at the same time in the same piece of land, and so one character's exit is another's entrance, and that kind of thing going between them. And this is kind of this feels like the cinematic version of that, even though they're not in the same space.
Right.
What's going on one floor is interdependent with the other.
And the idea of having to stall that one suitcase so that he can get the copies in.
Yeah.
That's high tension for them.
It is, yeah. And it's so sophisticated, and yet sometimes it's as simple as Simon Pegg has a fake arm.
Yes. That's great.
And I love how the fake arm kind of bobbles along.
Bobbles out the fucking tripod dick of an arm.
And there's, again, we're sort of like even though we're sort of all business, we're finding out information. We're finding out about these characters that we've just been introduced to. So Jeremy Renner, you know, is doing. He's a born surrogate before he was an actual born surrogate. He shows that he's handier than he's supposed to be in the.
But he also seemed, because before they get into the rooms, he's gonna what, I don't know, throw the briefcase out the window.
Yeah.
There's a little building of character there where it's like, oh, this guy's a rule follower. he doesn't want to take a big risk with.
But he knows more about combat than
we were led to believe. Yeah.
Unless there's more to the story, and immediately Ethan's like, you know, you handle yourself better than you should.
Yeah, and Brad Bird allows us to watch Ethan clock that.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, you know, I love me a cat fight as well, and
sure,
that's a great one here.
It's a couple of beautiful women rolling around on the ground there.
It's pure Avengers, right? Leah Seydoux versus Paula Patton. It's pure On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the Avengers.
I think of Kramer. Yeah,
you did cat fight. What do you think? We just strip down to brown panties and have a tickle fight? Yes, I do.
Yes.
And then we already talked about this, but the Sandstorm, which had been previously introduced and then dismissed, comes back
the second he leaves the building to chase the baddie.
I was like, such good writing, I completely forgot about this.
So good.
That's what I mean. That's
plus they have that.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say. Plus, they have that great moment where Renner and Cruz are about to go in the building, and he still has his fucking goggles on.
Yeah.
From the building climb,
Yeah,
he goes goggles, and he puts them in his jacket, and all it does is help him later. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean,
one failure is one thing that helps you later on.
I think that the art form of writing these kinds of scenarios is you don't put too fine a point on anything. It's like sleight of hand magic. Before in a later film we will actually get sleight of hand magic, which is a bit weird. But at this point,
it's not as weird as you think. Think back to the original film.
The original?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that in decades.
Okay. Well, he does magic in that one.
He does?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but anyway, it's got this at least has the kind of feel of close-up magic, where the art of misdirection, where you're sort of like, you don't put a finer point on anything, and you don't know what's going to become important until it does.
Sure.
And I think that is a really hard tightrope to do in writing, and I think this movie nails so much of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be able to surprise you within such a formulaic film,
yeah, right,
is really something. It's really admirable.
It should count. It should count as extra, like extra credit.
It does, yeah. I mean, you don't expect to be surprised by the storytelling.
Yeah, I imagine it's why it's at the top of both of our lists, because it's able to do those things.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Like, you know, we're wizened old cynical moviegoers who've seen every cliche in the book, and
sure,
when these movies work, I fall for all their tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I like feeling that way. I like being surprised as a kind of hardcore moviegoer who's seen everything.
Mm-hmm.
And seldom it happens, but it happens a lot in this movie, repeatedly. I mean, even it's the villain. The villains are using masks.
Yes, yeah, for his getaway.
It's such a nice, again, yeah. It's like an inversion of audience expectations. So there's this constant like bait and switching of the audience, which again I think the next movie picks up on as well. The next couple of movies pick up on.
Yeah,
but he's laying down a really, really useful template to how to tell the story, but also manipulate audiences too.
Yeah. And there's just sort of a general... I mean, this comes up a few times in the series, because back up in the hotel, Paula Patton has already kind of told us what she wants to do with the assassin. what's her name? Sophie?
Mm-hmm. Leah Seydoux.
Leah Seydoux. And
pre-Bond Leah Seydoux. I bet she got
go.
I bet she got the Spectre gig based on this.
Because
she
of
must
this.
Have done. She
Yeah.
must have done.
But I like the idea of not just their cat fight, but it ending in her death and the sort of the grayness of it. The idea of we really need to keep her alive, but I really need to stay alive. In order to do that, I got to kick her the fuck out that window.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I like in Tom Cruise's chase, which is pretty, like, there's a lot of shit going on. There's fucking getting hit by a car and stealing a car and head-on collisions and the guy ripping off the mask and all that. But what I love is that kind of writing point where the moment he escapes is the moment the storm passes. And now it's clear skies again.
But again, I think it's really it's done in a really challenging way. Like, it almost seems counterintuitive that you have a car chase where you can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
But they kind of...
He's using his beeper on his hand, though. He's using spy shit to see it coming towards him and that kind of thing.
But I like the idea of kind of stripping down the spectacle of the car chase to the basic elements of it. I think that's a really interesting way of doing it. But it's not an obvious way of doing it at all. Normally, you want to see what's happening in a car chase, and I love that they're rolling the dice on this concept working. But it really does work.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, and this has got to be because it's totally makes no difference to the story at all when he goes off to meet his Russian guy and his connection. In the next scene, the guy that he meets...
The guy from the first movie?
Oh, is he the guy from the first movie?
He's the guy who works for Max that puts the hood on him. And he's like, where he kind of smiles at him.
Oh,
like,
I didn't know. I don't remember
And it's the same hood.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? So maybe this is connected to that as well, but did you recognize the guy with blonde hair that he meets?
With the long blonde hair.
Yeah.
That is the guy. That's who I mean. That's the guy. That guy is the guy who worked for Max. And the hood he gives him is the hood he gives him in the first movie.
I didn't realize that connection. But you know who else he is?
I don't know.
He's the blonde henchman from Living Daylights.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. The guy who pretends to be
much,
the milkman.
much older?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, not that. I mean, not 20 years older, I guess.
Yeah.
But obviously the first movie was riffing on that. Well, I had no idea that he was a legacy character in the series. That's great.
Love
That's
that.
fantastic. He's a Purcell.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Well, this movie is even better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty great. Yeah, more finding out what happened in Ethan's marriage. It feels like it comes out organically.
Kind of Brandt tells us his version of the story in which he feels responsible for Michelle Moynihan's death.
And it's clever because they're prompting him to give them information, but they're not asking for this information. This information comes out.
And it's not hacky at all.
So they know he's not a traitor, basically.
Yeah. And what I also like about it is there's a moment where Benji says, no, she just left him. Like he can't believe that she's dead.
I love that there's something about, again, imbibing that spirit of Roger Moore Bond as the kind of pacing of one of those movies, like a Spy Who Loved Me kind of movie. Like, we go from here to India, this sort of random globe-trotting quality.
Yeah.
That we've kind of, I think, was strongest in the Moore period, where it kind of, it was like basically a travel log around the world. And then going to India as well, which is where they go in Octopussy, and there's a raga version of the Mission Impossible theme, which is again probably how they do it in a Roger Moore Bond movie, like the Snake Charmer version of the Bond theme. But of course, because this is 2011, we're going to India to see a cast member of Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah.
Hollywood really wanted to work the cast of Slumdog Millionaire to death in this period.
As much as possible.
They literally was like, I basically want to work them until they're husks. But he's such a great. I mean, it's such a.
I can't remember. Did we say that is Rise the same year? Is that 2011?
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny.
So it's exactly the same. They just got a different guy from
just a different Slumdog Millionaire actor.
They're not. They're thinking about him in, I don't know, more or less racist terms, but the kind of a sort of lascivious millionaire, kind of playboy character that you would get in a Roger Moore Bond film.
Yeah,
like what's he called? The guy from Octopussy, the Louis.
Well, you'll remember better than me, sir.
Well,
if you don't remember,
one of the 15 villains / henchmen in that movie. That's not Steven Berkoff. Yeah, and it's just so. It just the getting in tuxedos and the performativity of arriving at that ball,
looking nice. Yeah.
I
like that conversation that Benji and Brant have about the magnets.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And also, the switching it up in terms of how you tell the audience about how you tell the story, like going over the plan ahead of time.
Yeah, right.
Sort of like, oh, okay, you tell them, you set it up there instead of finding out as we go along.
And it's done a little bit better here in the sense of, a lot of times it's just an information dump. Okay, we have to do this. And then we cut to what it is they'll do and do this and do this. And sometimes in other movies, they kind of show it how Tom Cruise thinks it could fail, that kind of thing. And
the bad outcome projection.
The bad outcome, and then we have to kind of start back over. But I like the idea.
I fall for it every time. Every single time.
Well, I kind of like the idea of somebody on the team who hasn't been in the field a little while just saying, all right, tell me how these magnet things work again. And it's like, you drop and I catch you. You're like, and how do you catch me? And you're like, magnets. You're like, okay, but, are we sure?
I love that because that's how, the screenwriters are like, magnets. That's how we do it. It's magnets.
Yeah,
magnets
are big. That happens in the Fast and Furious franchise at one point. Just magnets.
Just one. When I watched it, was just like a giant magnet.
Probably Fast and Furious.
So that
8, 9, or 10, I don't remember, but it's not 10.
Well, I've not seen. I've not seen any of those movies. It's like a heist movie where they use a magnet to get so that everything. All the jewelry sticks to the magnet anyway, I can't remember what it is, but I've seen it somewhere.
Well, Tom, now I want to know. Well, should we take one more break?
Yeah, we should, because we're already in India.
We're getting to it.
Everything Sequel podcast has a sequel. It's our Patreon, and for a low monthly donation, you can get up to 2 exclusive, full-length, ad-free bonus episodes. $5 a month gets you an episode discussing all the original movies from the series we've covered on the podcast. And that's a lot of snakeheads. But $10 a month scores you the reboot to boot. Support Everything Sequel on Patreon and reap the benefits of amazing brand new content you quite literally can't get anywhere else. Got more money than sense? We also offer one-time payments that will get you in the driver's seat of the podcast. Maybe even the passenger seat. That metaphor doesn't work, but our show does. So join the Patreon and believe the hype. It's a sequel.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom and I are here finishing up with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Had to give it a slight thought for a second there. These next 3 movies I could interchange at any moment.
Yeah, the title it reminds me of Get Shorty when he's looking at the script and he's saying, I don't like the title and a couple of the characters.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I haven't read it. I was sort of like, Ghost Protocol, I'd be like, pass, based on the title. And then if I read the script, I was like, okay, this is the best espionage film that's been made in the last 20 years.
Yeah. All right, where are we? Are we at the thing you were going to bring up at
No,
the
not
end
yet.
of the first segment yet?
No, no.
All right.
Maybe that's a mystery box.
I better not be.
Or a chance's bug.
Yeah, that's my fault. But you're not allowed to become a J.J. Abrams.
Thank you. I'm glad you're looking out for me to not become the thing I hate. You've become everything you despise.
Okay, do you want to say more about this party with the flirtation, or what else is going on?
Yeah, the getting one over on the lascivious millionaire. I think the whole seduction thing is very much in the sandbox of more Bond, but it's a kind of feminist twist on it because she gets the better of him, and she gets him to submit to her without there being any kind of like.
That's what I was just gonna say.
It goes from being like sexy dominance to actually it's quite frightening,
just dangerous and scary.
It's like I remember a comedian I went to college with in his stand-up routine sort of said that he was like on a date and getting down afterwards, and like his girlfriend came out with like a candle. And it was just like, pleasure and pain are the same thing, and he just went, no. Pleasure, having a good meal, nice drink, fun afternoon. Pain, try to avoid. Bad things, getting hurt, having accidents.
Don't like it. Not a fan.
Well, I mean, but it's so playful, this whole sequence, and I love the fact that they're able
I like Jeremy Renner stretching,
suspended over the spike.
Yeah,
it's so funny because I think Brad Bird's onto the right idea that we're never going to match the aerial sequence from Mission Impossible, so let's just kind of have fun with the idea. So it's not even Tom Cruise doing it; it's Jeremy Renner, and it's kind of like he's sort of comically stuck. In that, in a way, it's sort of like it does feel like a subversion of what they do.
The idea is they've turned off the fans, and so the computer's getting hot, and I just like even Benji trying to get him down the road, but he's bumping into the metal shit that's super hot on either side. He's like, hey, oh, fuck.
And it's interesting, this, like, the series kind of, there's a lot that's of the time, like when they're in the car, getting the cars, and the windscreen display is showing them all the information. It really is definitely the time for transparent touchscreens.
Yeah.
At this point in history, we imagine the future would be all transparent touchscreens. It would just be like every presentation would be someone moving the information around.
Minority Report style.
Yeah, and it's never really taken off in the same way. People are still using PowerPoint and, that kind of thing. So, but then there's like, just classic old school spy movie like The Submarines, which, again, it introduces the idea of submarines. To this franchise, which are going to become very important.
Yeah, I'll say.
And this is not supposed to be the same submarine, right?
No, I don't think so.
I'm surprised they didn't retcon this submarine as the same one that gets taken over by the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting you sort of said that, like, one of the weaknesses of this movie is that it doesn't have, that its villain is kind of weak source. Yeah. But I like that they kind of give him a point of view, and they use this device again, the idea of, like, he's out to create a unilateral nuclear strike to do a leveling disaster event. Like, they obviously liked this idea because it's reused.
Yeah, it's good.
A couple of times. And the villain gets minimal screen time, but even within that screen time, his point of view, like, what his objectives are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right in the sense that they could have done more with him, but at least within the minimal screen time he has, you know where he's coming from. And to me, from a writing perspective, that's the most important thing to know.
That counts. Yeah, I agree.
And it's so often what they miss in spy movies. It's like, why is Drax doing what he's doing?
Yeah, right.
You may not like the answer, but it's important to know. What do you think of this parking lot showroom that this action sequence takes place in? I presume this is a real location. Otherwise, they recreated the Senate from the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
which I don't think was their objective, but I was like, oh, this must be a real place in India.
Well, what I found interesting is in these types of movies, you have kind of your standard stuff. It's like the shipyard or the old warehouse, or you have a lot of same shit, different movie. And so on that level, I really appreciated that they just found themselves in this factory.
Yeah.
And I think it's shot really well.
I just feel like it must be real.
Oh, absolutely.
It must be a real showroom.
I think so.
Yeah. And I love that. I mean, that's the James Bond that, sort of like, oh, I know this woman who puts on a butterfly show. She could be in the movie. I went to this ski slope. Let's feature that. It kind of feels like that sort of thing. Although I have to say, not that I think this detracts from the movie in any way, but it does feel very much like the denouement of a Pixar movie when we're in the baggage, the carousel. When they're looking in all the suitcases when Benji's looking in all the suitcases to try and find the bomb, and you see like all the suitcases are going round, and it's kind of what happens at the end of Toy Story 2.
Wait, are you talking about Final Reckoning?
No, this one. They're going
I remember Patton and Jeremy Renner, going into that substation where the guy is, and she gets shot. Where the fuck is Benji?
Well, doesn't he have a thing where he's going through? He's like has to find a specific suitcase or a specific box in a factory or something. There's like this assembly line going around, because I made a note that it was just like a Pixar movie.
I don't remember this.
Because Benji saves the day, doesn't he? Like he proves his value to the field.
Well, they have to put the thing together at the substation. Basically, Brandt just has to turn the power on, and then Ethan can say mission accomplished and hit his button.
Okay.
I don't remember what the fuck Benji is doing. Well, that's going to bother me.
I think I think he's looking for the right suitcase on a baggage assembly line, just like in Toy Story 2.
Okay.
Because I was like, this is really Pixar. This whole thing. No, in a bad way. Just like, I feel like I'm watching the end of a Toy Story.
Fixing the relay while Ethan chases the baddie. I've got that. Car manufacturer.
Maybe it's the parking lot showroom. Maybe it's in there. Anyway.
Well, whatever.
You know what? Listeners will, if they know the movie, they'll know what I'm talking about.
Benji shoots a guy, I put down.
Yeah, so I wrote that they give him a mini cowardly lion arc, because isn't there a moment where he flinches earlier in the movie?
Yeah, right.
And he finds his courage in this final scene, or an incompetent lion arc.
Yeah,
I suppose. But again, all the stuff that happens with Benji in this movie, and they don't put too fine a point on it. It just kind of
he becomes a real part of the team.
It folds into the action.
He's an asset.
Really nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. That part of it I really like. And the whole timing of... Well, by the way, I forget the guy's name. The guy I keep calling Blomquist, the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
The most interesting thing about that bad guy that you find out in his literal last seconds when he's willing to kill himself to try and make sure that bomb goes off. When
Hendrix?
Hendrix, yeah. When
the actor's name is Nyquist.
Nyquist, yeah. He's in, I think it's the first John Wick. Oh. And then he's in all 3 of the Dragon Tattoo Swedish movies.
The headshot here of Tom Cruise on IMDb, which must be the most recent one, makes him look like Mick Jagger. For a second there, I was like, that's Mick Jagger.
I agree, yeah.
So instead of mission accomplished, it should have been, well, all right.
Anybody know where the free jack set is?
There's a great story that Craig Ferguson tells about being on tour with the Rolling Stones and going on the plane with them.
Uh-huh.
And he said that Keith Richards is in first class and Mick Jagger is sitting in coach, pretending that it was his choice. He's like, no, I really like the little trays and the way they come out, and I like. And he was like, one night he was sort of like, he wanted to come on stage with them, and like, you know, play a song with them, and Mick Jagger went, no, Keith don't like that. He don't like that when people come on stage. No, he don't like it.
Oh, fuck. That's good.
Anyway.
What do you think of Ethan's? I would think less of it if he didn't bring it up later when he says mission accomplished and hits the button. Plus, it doesn't work at first, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, it's like light the fuse, isn't it? It's like we're self-aware about. Also, hasn't that phrase been tainted by George W. Bush at this point?
Oh, yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of self-aware irony in that, saying that.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Or at least
he didn't pull out a banner. He didn't pull out a banner out of his jacket.
Well, that's it. Like maybe trying to reclaim the phrase. Yeah, and you know, as if this movie hadn't gone above and beyond to try and bring the rest of the canon in. We have him going back for a drink with Luther, like at the end of Mission. That I do remember from Mission Impossible, that he ends up with the two of them having a drink in an outside patio bar.
But I thought it was funny that, because this is the movie that, I mean, the last movie sets it up, but this movie is telling us that this will be our team.
Mm-hmm.
The way he's talking to them and like giving them the phones, and you know, it's funny that it doesn't really bother me. Say in the next movie, Paula Patton's just gone and we never know why.
Sure.
Other than Tom Cruise needs a new woman.
That's totally what it is.
To bring into his movies, but.
What's the name of you're a West Wing fan. What's the name of the character who just disappears? In like the second season,
yeah, what's her name? Moira
Kelly. I can't remember what the character's name is.
Yeah, but
she disappears in the middle of the assassination attempt.
Yeah, she
and
just
is never referred to again. Like she's erased from history.
Yeah,
in that moment, without a trace style.
I did also write that this scene was a definite Dos Equis commercial.
Sure. Well, good.
I said it was a Dos Equis commercial for a team we're building up that we'll never see again. Which is not exactly true. It's just dropping Paula Patton, but...
I'm sure that... I'm surprised someone didn't call Tom Cruise the most interesting man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's... And it's interesting as well, because he and Paula Patton's character have a moment when they're about to jump off the building, where... Oh, no, sorry, it's in India during the ball where he has to fake kiss her.
Yes.
To maintain his karma, and there's a moment between them where she's like, oh, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they don't follow up on that. Especially because he's still in love with his wife, and that's the twist.
Mm-hmm.
His wife is still out there, he's still in love with her, he just can't be with her.
I remember he says, he says, "I'm playing a hunch. Please don't hit me." And then he kisses her.
You old smoothie.
Yeah.
That's how he got into Katie Holmes's pants. But that one would counteract the other. That love interest would counteract this kind of...
Right, exactly. Plus,
but they have a romantic flair. They have a flirtation.
Yeah. But this movie also is wise enough to not forget everything that happened before it, and it's going to give us something here in the last seconds that doesn't ignore the previous sequels and also gives a final arc to Jeremy Renner's character. It's great.
Yeah. Wife life is a runner. And they make it pay off because we actually, he's chosen this location so he can creepily look at her from a distance.
Take one last look. Yeah. Like a real creep.
And it's not a romantic storyline, but they handle this as adeptly as any other part of the movie. It's just them looking at each other.
Yeah.
Like really restrained, really minimalist, really nuanced.
And enough.
And enough. Yeah, we never needed to see her again, but, whatever. I guess there's always the potential for her to come back.
And she does.
And she does, yeah. And it's interesting. Like this is the first time in the series that I was like actually paying attention to the teaser for the next mission, because I was like, this sounds this is the kind of movie where they might actually care, and it sounds so specific what they're telling him that to walk it all back would be so ridiculous if you
really bad.
Gave all this information. So I was just like, I really hope the next movie, and that was one of the first signs that the next movie was going to be so good, is that they're straight in with the Syndicate.
With the Syndicate, sure.
And it's like, oh, this fits what I heard. It's like they're not doing any Back to the Future 2 style retconning.
Yeah.
Here.
Right.
What we heard was what we heard.
It's not Tom, or it is Tom Cruise we see. It's not
Palpatine.
A new girlfriend, like Back to the Future.
It's not a new girlfriend. It's not a J.J. Abrams movie, so he's not going to tell us that we didn't hear what we heard.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was just like,
hey, wait a second. Isn't that Elizabeth Shue? I don't think Elizabeth Shue was in the first movie.
But it's also funny because I don't know if they necessarily know they're getting another movie, but it sells...
I think they do know, but
it sells the teaser for it to be so specific the way it is. Like, it's not like generic, oh, Mr. Hunt, we have a mission for you. Da 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 da. Like, it's like the Syndicate, and let me tell you about, let me go into a deep dive on what the Syndicate are. I'm like, well, that's really sold. If that was the last thing we saw in Mission Impossible, I'd be happy because it sold it to me that he's going off into a new mission, even if we never see it.
Yeah,
but
right.
If they want to make a new movie, that sounds like a great movie too that he's about to go into.
Yeah.
So it's win-win, whichever way it ends up. Such smart writing.
Good shit.
And also, the whole, Brad Bird's not through with the whole sort of bringing everyone to the blink of nuclear oblivion, because Benji talks about the cold sweats of, how close the world came to being destroyed.
Yeah. Can you guys believe it?
And
that's a good CGI moment, by the way, when the missile's going straight towards San Francisco, and then they hit the button, and it just kind of lazily hits.
And it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice that it's their secret, and I guess they've already done this, so they can't do it again. But by the time you get to the end of the movie, the entire world knows the threat it's under.
Yeah.
And so them nodding to each other in Trafalgar Square doesn't really have any meaning, because it's like, you don't need to hide from everyone around you. Everyone around you fucking old. Everyone knows what happens. Martial law. The world nearly fell apart. What do you? You don't have to hide from anyone. But here it's sort of like the idea of, again, that Cuban Missile Crisis idea that because of the actions of a few men in a few rooms,
right,
two countries didn't get destroyed.
Brought us back from the brink.
Yeah, because two men were able to talk to each other.
Yeah,
via phone. Everything was like, so I just like that dimension to it rather than the, it's basically Kang and Kodos have taken over the world in the later movies.
I understand.
So we both called this a good movie, right?
Fuck yeah.
Dumb question, of course we did. Yeah, no, it's such a well executed movie.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great example of this genre of filmmaking.
Agreed.
And for it to be done as recently as 2011 is really surprising to me.
Yeah.
I was always suspicious of the hype around the Mission Impossible movies, that they did have these highs that people said they had. But I believe the hype now after seeing Ghost Protocol.
What more can we ask?
Yeah, no, I mean they got there.
This is what I was hoping would happen.
They made something as good as a good Roger Moore Bond film.
All right, take it easy.
You think that praise too high praise?
No, I just.
It is for me. That takes a lot for me to say that,
Yeah. Okay.
But it is that sort of, it's interesting where this movie lies historically in the Bond cycle, because you're between Quantum of Solace and Skyfall.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no guarantee that there will even be another Bond movie at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Although probably Skyfall was probably in production by 2011.
Yeah, but Quantum of Solace was a bit of a...
Right. And it was no fun. So basically they came in with a movie that could take the Bond mantle away from the actual Bond films. And
I don't know. I don't think Bond has to worry about any other franchise.
It doesn't. I mean, you look at those periods between License to Kill and GoldenEye, and then again between Quantum of Solace and Skyfall.
Skyfall, yeah.
What happened between Spectre and No Time to Die? It's not guaranteed. Its future is not guaranteed. And I think this kind of swooped in at the right moment and was like, "Hey, you know how Bond films aren't fun anymore? Well, we're fun. And you know how there's no Bond films anyway? Well, we're kind of like a Bond film."
Well, we are a film.
Yeah, it was the perfect movie at the perfect time, I think.
I love hearing this from you.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you give us a credit check?
Well, this is where my record comes in.
Okay.
Because I have a single credit check note.
Only one?
Yeah, so this also tells me this...
Is this the thing you were going to tell us from the beginning?
Yeah. I think this is a record. I don't think I've had a single credit check note for any...
Hell no. You're telling me there's not two fucking brothers working on this movie?
Well, I didn't want to repeat my credit checks from previous movies. No, the only one... Yeah, and I was just like, "Ooh, is this a green flag that it's a good movie?"
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have to make too many credit checks.
You're not trying to nitpick the fucking credits?
Yeah. At first company grip, Ian Muscle. And it seems like maybe he got the job because of his name. And then while we're talking about physical labor, I just want to speak up for the hundreds, maybe thousands of uncredited slave workers who undoubtedly worked on the Dubai part of the production. Because that was a huge problem there pre-World Cup in general. There's a slave economy going on in Dubai, which we know Tom Cruise is into with his Scientology. So
yeah, that's okay.
Tom Cruise is walking around Dubai going, "Wow, even I don't have this much control over my Scientology members."
You ended it on a real bummer.
Was that a bummer?
Talking about slavery.
Sticking up for the disenfranchised.
All right,
Never a bummer.
I'll go the other way with it then. It's inspiring.
This land is my land. This land is your
The stances you're taking.
How many votes must a man walk down? Come on, join in.
All right, that's it. Yes? Yeah. Nothing else for you?
That was it, my single credit check note. That even the credits were impervious to my criticism. That's how good a movie this is.
Well, in that case, you're going to have to tell us if you agree with us on that, ladies and gentlemen. Find us on the books and the grams and the X's. And
using nouns this time. Like
threads. And the skies.
The tubes.
You know. The what?
The tubes.
Oh, yeah, the tube. Don't forget about that.
Not Tubi. We're not on Tubi.
The groove tube.
Groove tube. That's a really funky version of YouTube.
Everyone put a television on top of your gorilla's head. Be sure to download, rate, and review us.
Mm-hmm.
It helps, so I'm
really
told.
Does. You know, put us up on your Instagram story or...
Yeah. Tell people to listen.
If you and people have been doing that, and it's
have
been
they?
Really nice to see. Yeah,
fantastic. Or send an email to everythingsequel@gmail.com. All right, that's it. Let me turn my paper over and remember what the fuck next movie is called here. Oh, I already had it up. When you hear us next, we'll be talking Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Sequel to Rogue One.
All right, take it easy. Settle down.
It's a whole nation instead of one.
I dare say it's another movie we like.
I think that's a good assumption.
Yeah. All right, for Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, Michael Shantz here of the How Dare You Awards. We will be back. Say goodbye, Tom.
It's funny because you said anus.
Damn it.
Is that what you thought it was going to be?
Nope.
Oh, wow. What did you have? Well, you got to give me your quotable now.
I had camels.
Why would that be my quotable?
He almost runs over those camels, and then he looks at her and just says, camels.
That doesn't work out of context. That's like the opposite of Last Crusade.
Yeah.
No camels. No camels. Yeah, well, I mean, that...
Sala,
that
I said no camels. That's like 6 camels.
It's funny because you said anus is great because it's a movie so comedically assured, it can even comment on its own lame jokes.
Yeah.
All you got in J.J. Abrams' movies is lame jokes. There's no commentary on the lame jokes.